Hi, I'm Mike. I'm from Walton, so I'm a local person to Liverpool area. I've been worried for many, many years about going to the dentist. So in October 2018, I joined a community group to basically try and help people get them back into the dentist. I'm going to talk through today about my worries about cost and a few other things, and hopefully it can help. I kind of had different costs going around my head and was probably making a lot of it up and what I'd heard off other people, and it started to frighten me a little bit. So I thought, well, I'm not really in pain. I'll sort of crack on while I can. And cracking on ended up sort of turning into quite a few years down the line. I play snooker, and one of the clubs where I was playing, one of the gentlemen come in and he was holding his mouth, and I was like, what's up with you? Because he looked quite funny. And he said, oh, I've just been the dentist, I just had root canal. And he said, my wallet's a lot lighter. I said, well, why? What's up? Well, he said, well, it's just cost me £200. And I said, well, how many teeth did you have that done on? He said, only one. And I think that was kind of what a lot of people fall into. It's kind of, you hear what one person's paid and you kind of automatically assume that that's what you would pay. And I now know that's not the case, but at the time I didn't. So I think that's probably where I got my 1200 from, because I was thinking, well, I guarantee mine are worse than his. So I probably put an extra £50 on for each tooth maybe, and then got to the point where I worked out that figure that it was going to cost in excess of £1,000. And I thought, I'm never going to have that. I'm never going to be able to save that. I think the biggest change for me was when they changed enough that I went from a tax credit point of view. I'd had my dentist and my prescriptions and things like that were all paid for me. And then all of a sudden I wasn't in that position anymore and I couldn't fall back on that. And knowing that side of it was gone and not understanding the cost of it because I've been kept away from it, I think that's where I started to get a little bit worried. I would say to anybody that felt that the cost was a barrier, if they truly now believe that that was their only barrier, and they're looking at it now and now they realise that it's not a barrier, then pick up the phone, book an appointment, get down to the dentist, do it. So 100% I would say to someone, if it's not a barrier. To anybody who feels that it is still a barrier, I get that. I'd never belittle any money, whether it's band 1 at £20 odd to band 3, £269. It can be a little amount of money to one person, a lot of money to other, and I know that and I get that, and the same works for me. One month the £22 would be an issue, another month the £269 would be fine. But is there anything that can give that would allow you to have that money available? If you can, then do it.